Oh, I'm live already. Look at that. That was fast. Normally I get about a minute and a half before I actually go live from the time I hit the go live button. Tonight I don't think I got 30 full seconds there. Hey, Mandarin. I have a treat for you tonight. See if you can spot it as we go around the room. Did you wind up going to the urgent care, or did you just ride it out and get better? I'm glad you're alive, by the way. That's nice. I need all the viewers I can get. All right, let's get started. I did some work in here today, but again, we'll see that as we make our way around to it. In the meantime, let's get you situated to have a look-see at the pond while we get that fed. Didn't do a big workout tonight, but I did just finish doing a bunch of sit-ups a few minutes ago. That's why I'm still out of breath. So bear with me. You don't get this sexy by accident. Takes work, people. Did a virtual doctor's visit. Nice. Strep throat. Yeah, that's what it sounded like. Got antibiotics. Nice. Well, by now they should be starting to kick in. They usually take 24 to 36 hours to start really having an impact, but by now you should be starting to feel better, or I would hope so anyway. You'll have to wait and see, Mandarin, see if you can guess what the surprise is for you. But I thought about you while I did it, and I got a chuckle to myself, and I thought you'd enjoy it. So see if you can spot it when we get there. All right, and I'm finally cutting that stupid leaf off that's been dangling into the water for so long. It now looks like that. This being where the water line was. So the rest of it's been eaten away or rotten away. And that is now going to go in the trash can. I have been busy down here off and on all afternoon. I did not get a nap in today. Zini, Christopher, Robert. Did you enjoy that video, Zini? I did not even notice. 14 months. Good grief. Man, time goes by fast. I didn't even notice the animation. I'm just, wearing my headphones, walking around the basement, doing stuff, getting ready, and I'm listening to the music, and I'm listening to this song, and I'm thinking, oh, this is just so fucking weird. Not just the fact that the language they were singing in, but the music. And this artist is known for doing weird stuff with like strange musical time signatures and stuff that hardly anybody else uses. They're really, really creative artist, and this song was just so fucking weird, and I thought, oh man, Zini will love this. This is right up Zini's weirdness alley. And then when I went to send it, I actually saw the video and I saw all that animation, and I got stuck looking at that for a minute, and I was like, holy shit, that's fucking cool. So I was glad I sent it because it was really cool looking. Langdon, how are you? I'm sorry, Langton. I have no idea, Zini. I have no idea what the song is about. None of that. I just thought it was cool. I thought it was fucking weird, and I thought you would love it. I hope I was right. Right now, we're just puffing on my bowl. I got some Wicked Space in there with some random, I have no idea what kind of oil it was, but I just soaked one of my bowlfuls of Wicked Space with hash oil, and I've been working on this hit and miss all afternoon. Yeah, that animation was crazy. Oh, good job there, Mandarin. I don't think we're going to be doing any work tonight. I'm really jacked up on coffee. I made my coffee way too strong. I've just been eyeballing it lately instead of measuring it. And I think I way overdid it yesterday, but I was drinking stuff today that could have taken fucking paint off the side of the house. And I had to put it down about an hour ago, about 7 o'clock. I told my wife, I was just like, I can't drink it. I got to save the rest of this for tomorrow. My hands are shaking. And so I'm jacked up. But at the same time, I feel like strangely chill and relaxed. I had to switch music to something more chill. Um, I was listening to Daft Punk earlier, and I had that just driving in my head for I don't even know how long. And that was, that wasn't helping the sense of like that sense of urgency. So I switched over my music because music has a very, very powerful impact on my mood. I don't know if it has that same impact on other people's mood, but I know it sure doesn't mine. And so I switched over to something more chill. So we'll wait till some more people join. If anybody would like to try to guess what music I was listening to tonight, shouldn't be too hard, I wouldn't think. I really need to get a new fan for the basement. Look how that smoke is just hanging in the air. And that's with me in here walking around and talking and doing stuff, and you can see it's just hanging there. It's way too damp and chilly outside tonight to have the fan on in the window, so we're just kind of riding it out. It's going to be smoky pool room, pool hall smoking here soon. You know what? In fact, let me put my bowl down and we'll stop smoking altogether. We'll switch over to vaping, and then that way it'll still be a room that will appear to be smoky as hell, but it'll be just vapor that won't stink up the house the same way smoke does. And once again, I don't have any idea what flavor that is. You can get a pretty good idea. Let's get the little bit of light coming from behind it. Oop, where am I going here? So anyway, you get an idea of what we're puffing on tonight, and that's a lot you're looking through, and it's still that clear. This is some good shit. Don't know what it is. I can't remember. It doesn't matter, but we're smoking on it. We're puffing on it anyway. Keep forgetting it's a holiday weekend this weekend. I think it's supposed to be nice out too. That's how you lay down some smoke on the water. Looks like my whole damn island is on fire. You have to actually step back here to take in the true glorious magnitude of the size of that hit. And I do those all night long. It's a wonder how I'm still standing up by the end of these things when you think about it. All right, I gotta find a fan or something. That's ridiculous. Maybe I'll go put the fan on in the other room on very, very low, and it'll gently pull the smoke out, but it is going to make the room chilly by the end of the night. All right, all right, I got the window blocked off, so let me unblock off it. This isn't a fan that is designed to go in a window. It's a floor fan. I just have it in the window. And as such, I can't close the window. So if I don't want cold air coming in at night when I'm not using the fan, I got to take a piece of foam and put it between the fan and the screen and block off the gap. And so I had to remove that. Let me get the window open back here in my corner where I work out. And I think the high temperature today only got up to 60 couple degrees. So what did I figure out? That was like 15 or 16 degrees Celsius for you Celsius people. All right, let me turn the fan on. Let me close the door. And hopefully we didn't trap any cats down here with us. All right, we got the fan on and it's rolling nice and low and slow. And hopefully we'll start to see some of that smoke clearing out of here. All right, well, no new viewers, no new comments. People are killing me from here on out. Once again, it's going to be another work night. All right, let me set forth my kayaks because they've gotten themselves all the way into the corner over here. We had a terrible tragedy with my other kayak. It capsized, and we haven't found the paddler yet. Some of you guys saw this the other night. Tragic. There were no survivors. All right, let's go around and get the fancy goldfish fed. I meant to wipe the glass down a little bit before we got started. It's not too bad, but I did want to get it a little bit cleaned up. I just didn't have time. I went upstairs and got occupied by editing a video, and before I knew it, I looked up and it was 10 of 8, and I decided I probably ought to come down here and start, turning the camera on and that kind of stuff. And so here we are. Goldfish all still look good. None of those growths have come back. You'll have to wait and see, Mandarin. It's not for you necessarily. I just thought about you when I did it. Oh, I don't know, Christopher. I don't really worry about it anymore. We're back down to 9 people watching. I just consider this a dead channel at this point. I just come down here and do my thing and chit chat away. And if people watch, they watch. If they don't, they don't. I really don't give a shit anymore. I've totally stopped caring about my YouTube channel. I did actually want to talk about that a little bit tonight. When I say I don't care about my YouTube channel, I don't want to misconstrue how I actually feel. I'm not saying I don't care about my viewers or I don't care about my audience or my community or anything like that. I just don't care about the channel in the sense that it was always something I worried about. I was trying to make money with it. It was, it was supposed to be a source of income for me. For years, I was trying to work that out. And for a long time I was, and it was being pretty successful eventually. Things changed. It no longer is. And at this point, again, it's just functionally dead. It's, the little bit of money I make from YouTube. This was the first month that I actually didn't even think about it. I stopped even checking comments and looking at stuff like that a long time ago. But this month was the first month that not only did I not look at to see how much money was sitting in my dashboard, I completely forgot I get a payment from YouTube every month. And I got an email saying that, check your bank account, your payment went through. I'm like, payment? What payment? And then I realized, oh, that's right, it's my YouTube payday. So that was it for me. That's when I realized, like, I'm done. It's not in my brain anymore. I've switched the fucking YouTube off. I just don't care anymore. If a little bit of money shows up in the bank each week or each month, then great. If it doesn't, then it just doesn't matter. So I don't know. It just doesn't seem to nothing I do makes the channel grow. It just keeps getting smaller and smaller. At some point, I'm going to be down here by myself. And then at that point, I'll just stop doing the live streams when I'm all alone down here. Hey, 310, how are you? All right, I am going to do another one of them hits. I meant to take a muscle relaxer before I came down here because, again, I am jacked up on the caffeine. I still feel all shaky and wired. But my back's not hurting and bothering me, and that's why I didn't think about taking the muscle relaxer tonight. It would literally be just to take the edge off the coffee. I wonder if I've got some weed that will take the edge off the coffee. I don't believe I do. I think all my stuff is good, uppity brain stuff. If I had some edibles, I could do that because that always knocks me out. I guess it would also be helpful if I blew the hits in the direction of the fan in the other room rather than blowing them into the fish room. Mel! How are you today? I was just talking about how moist it's going to get in here with the window open. We had another moist day. We got a lot of rain the other day. We actually finally got the kind of rain we need, like the long, slow, steady, like all day kind of rain with periods of very heavy rain. So I'm anxious to get out the reservoir this weekend and see how topped off it is and see how much water got actually put in it. Last time I was up at the headwaters, excuse me. Last time I was up at the headwaters, a lot of water was coming in, but the level of the reservoir itself was still really low. So it's going to need a lot of water coming in for quite a while, even to catch up to where it ought to be this time of year. Well, honestly, it ought to be full this time of year. It's springtime, and it's down several feet. I really hope it does get topped off. I did miss you. Yeah, the glass in this tank, the glass in several of my tanks needs a razor treatment. I did a razor treatment on one of my tanks tonight. See if you can figure it out when we get there. I've had decent enough luck with swords. Excuse me. I'm getting carried away with the size of my hits. Gotta stop showing off. I know I'm a manly man and all, but there's limits. I don't know if I've ever grown Val. I know I have Crip, and I can grow the shit out of that. I'm not sure about the Val. And I've had swords in the past, and most of them do well. And frankly, when Laura gets here, if Laura gets here tonight, remind me about the mushroom, because we have a mushroom blooming underneath of the piece of wood. I'll show you guys in a minute here. But my peace lilies are actually a type of sword. Anything that's labeled an Amazon sword is going to be a sword-like plant that can live fully submerged, completely underwater. Anything that is labeled as a Brazilian sword is going to be a plant like my peace lilies here that can grow with their roots in well-oxygenated water. But the plant itself needs to grow emergent, and the leaves and the stuff have to be coming out the top in order for it to grow properly. That would be a Brazilian sword. And a lot of what people buy as a Brazilian sword literally is just a peace lily that you can buy for, a few dollars at Walmart, and then just divide the shit out of it as it keeps growing and growing and growing. They're really easy to grow. You can grow it as a house plant or an aquarium plant, because I do have peace lilies growing out of my pond. Gold rice fish. Ooh, that sounds shiny indeed. And you know I like shiny things. All right, it looks like I am caught up. Speaking of shiny gold things, I saw a car today. It was a Subaru um, Crosstrek. It was the real little sporty looking job, and it was the prettiest color. When I first looked at it, I thought it was gold, and then I looked at it again, and I thought it had sort of a coppery undertone. And then as I got closer, I realized that it was like a green undertone. It was somehow green and gold at the same time, and it had a light but noticeable metallic flake to it, and the sun was shining on it. It looked like they just washed it or whatever, and it was fucking gorgeous. It was one of the prettiest paint jobs I've seen in a long time. Really, really cool looking color. I'm really glad to see they're finally doing interesting stuff with car colors again. We went through a terrible period of like just boring ass car colors. Like car colors went the way of like apartment decor. Like everything's beige, so that no matter what your furniture looks like, it'll fit in just fine. You know, car colors were like, let's not do any car color that won't offend somebody. You know, not do anything even remotely interesting because somebody might not buy that. Back in the day, back in the 70s, man, they had some wild ass car colors back in the 70s. And it is nice to see they're starting to do stuff like that again. Anyway, it was a gorgeous car. It really was. Hey, Ian, how are you? Told you guys, I'm all jacked up on caffeine. You get me started on something, you might be in for a ride tonight. Yeah, I do think you need to use root tabs if you're going to use, have some big ass swords growing in your tanks. Oh boy, that sounds like a good time there, Christopher. I'd just go point and laugh at all of them. Actually, I wouldn't even waste my time doing that because fuck them. Who cares? All right, let me have a drink of the iced tea and then we'll do another hit. We are going to do a little bit of work on the 40. I need to get some of the duckweed off the top, and we probably should do a water change. The water's starting to look like tea, and I don't remember the last time I actually did a water change on that tank. And being that we have minimal water circulation now that I took the filter off of it, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to do a water change. We ought to test the nitrate too, because I think it'll be interesting to show what a very heavily planted tank, even with like floating plants and whatnot, I bet it's still got plenty of nitrate in there, even though it looks like that. I don't know why everybody says, "Oh, I planted a pothos plant in my aquarium, and like I don't have any nitrate. I had to add nitrate for my plant food or whatever." I've never had that experience. I've never had even fast-growing plants in a tank remove nitrate at any kind of noticeable rate, which is why I always tell people, you know, I'm a little dubious about the idea that nitrates are going to be quickly reduced if you add some plants to your tank. 25,000 cars. Holy crap. I've never been to like an actual car show. There's a diner, and of course this was also 30 fucking years ago or 35 years ago or whatever. The diner's probably still there, but I don't know if they still do this or not. But there was a diner in Catonsville right off of Route 40, and they would have a car meet up every Saturday night out around the diner, and it would be just basically like the old 50s or 60s days when everybody went to the diner on Friday night. They served you out in your car if you were in your classic car, and they reserved a whole section of the parking lot for these guys to come with their classic cars. And it was nothing official. You just basically showed up in your car and just hung out with other car dudes. And it was just a place to go if you were a car guy on Saturday nights. And did it every single Saturday night for as long as I could remember. I can't even remember the damn name. Is it Mr. T's? No, it definitely wasn't the Double T. What the hell was the name of that? Mr. G's? Oh, that's going to drive me crazy now. It sucks getting old. Here I'm standing here talking about how, like, every night, every Saturday night, all my life, I can picture the place. I can remember it. I cannot think of its name to save my life. Yeah, I can see that. It's got a very 80s look to it. All right, let's move on to the tank that we're talking about. The first bit of work we can do easily enough just by scooping the duckweed off the top. I want to say it's Mr. G's, but I'm going to have to look into that. All right, you guys know my technique here. If you don't, you can watch and learn. I just basically herd all of the duckweed into the one side as best I can. This is starting to look like it's got algae growing in it too, like the green hair algae. Ooh, that's some thick duckweed too. Wow. Oh yeah, we're definitely starting to get the hair algae growing in it. That's not good. I want to get more than that out of there. That is a fair whack of it. We'll throw that in for the goldfish. Not worried about the hair algae in there. Those goldfish won't let any of that survive. But I'm actually going to go get a net, and we're going to scoop even more of that duckweed out of there. That's a good way if you want to just get some out in a brief skim. But if you really want to reduce the amount of duckweed and really get a lot of it out of there, it's easy enough to just get a net and just skim it like you're skimming a pool. And this makes it a little easier to leave the some of the water sprite behind. I don't care if I take some of the water sprite with me. In fact, I'm intending to take some of the water sprite with me. But leaving some behind isn't gonna. I mean, I want to leave some behind, and that's not difficult when you do it like this. You scoop it up in my hand, I can get the pieces out, but they're covered in a pile of duckweed. And if I throw it back in the tank, I'm just throwing a big pile of duckweed back in the tank for the most part. So the net makes it a little easier to avoid that. Scoop some of that out. And that can get thrown right into the goldfish pond. Nice and empty. All right, we got a leaky filter over here, but we'll discuss that when we get to it. Let me come back around, lower you down, and then we'll throw some food at these guys. You should be able to see there a little better now that we've actually got some of that out of the way. I probably ought to do a water change in this, but we'll see how it goes. This is the tank I was talking about. At the very least, let's check the nitrate, because remember what I was saying about it being a fairly heavily planted tank? I mean, you can see it goes back in there. There's plants all the way back into the corner. And I've also got, see all that pothos plant on the floor? Not this stuff here, but the stuff on the floor. Look at where all that's coming from. It's coming from right there. Well, some of it technically is coming from right there too, but a lot of it is coming from right there. So this tank has, because if you look, see this in here? That's pothos plant. Look at that. Look at the roots. So that is the root system for that, a lot of what you saw on the floor. So not only do we have all of the plants that are in this tank with all of the, the planty plants, whatever the fuck those things are called, we've got that pothos in there as well. So let's do a nitrate check on this tank, and let's see if we're surprised by what color we get on the nitrate. Now, keep in mind, I don't remember the last time I did a water change on this tank, so it's probably been a good while. But let's throw some food at them now that we've totally freaked everybody in the tank out completely. The angelfish is all the way in the back. Sorry, Mel. I really need to not only do a water change, but we really need to get in there and thin some of that vegetation out. Let me get the little vial thingy doodle, and we'll do a API nitrate test, and we'll see how red it turns. Look at that. I got one right here. How convenient. Well, I got the test right here. I need to go get the little glass vial from the other room. You rinse some of this old, I don't care how many times you rinse one of these things out, you will always have a little tiny, tiny drip of colored water in the bottom of it from the last time you used it. All right, so we'll start fresh with that. All right, I'll rinse it out a couple times with tank water just to make sure. I'm sure it doesn't make that much of a difference, but we'll do it anyway. Perfect. All right, let's, you guys don't need to go through all the rigmarole watching me do the test, but remember, when we get to bottle number 2, we need to shake it vigorously, and there's a reason we need to shake it vigorously. But I'm going to start with bottle 1, and I can't talk for a minute because I need to count. And as talented as I am, I cannot count and talk at the same time. So hang on. All right, and that is indeed nitrate bottle 1. Just double checking because I am very absent-minded. So bottle number 2, it's not the liquid we're so worried about, but it is a, oh, this is my empty bottle. It's almost empty. We'll see if we get 10 drops out of it. There's a solid that's suspended in the liquid, and it will get clumped up on the bottom if you let it sit. So you need to shake it really well to make sure that's all evenly mixed around in the liquid. All right, I did get 10 drops out of it, but we're just going to throw this away. It's so empty. I'm wondering whether I'm going to get the full 10 drops or not. And at that point, I'm wondering whether or not it's even got enough of the stuff left in it. When I shake it, like I can't even feel the liquid shaking around inside the vial. But it looks, I could see it looks sort of white and cloudy when I was dripping it out, and that's what it should look like. So I think we got a good test. And look, geez Louise, we're already starting to get color change, and I've barely finished shaking it and mixing it together. This is going to be crimson red in a few more minutes. All right, let's just throw this stuff away and call this test bottle empty because it's may as well be for all intents and purposes. Wow, it's already crimson red. All right, let's see where we are. Somewhere back here. Don't have any stop signs tonight. From way back here. Holy crap, look at all these comments. Goes from nothing to everything. Can't even keep up. All right, holy crap. There we are. There's a stop sign. Thank you, Ian. Appreciate that. No, I've never had luck with the carpeting plants, but I haven't actually tried carpeting plants. Hey, Shirley, I haven't actually tried carpeting plants in many a long year, so I don't know. Hey, Bob. Well, the green hair algae can look cool, but it grows really fast. And if you don't have something in there that's eating it and kind of keeping on top of it, you'll get what my pond out back started to look like. And the tank you're looking at has actually been like that, where it's just got like mats of like that foamy, hairy, green nastiness floating on the top of it. I got Kubutai Bodias. Mandarin. No, they sure enough did, man. Look at that fish sitting right in front like that. I figured once the food went in the tank, it would come out. Laura. I'm right there with you, Robert. I've said that for years, that plants just have no impact whatsoever on my nitrate. Senior glitter butt, nice. Anything that glitters is all right with me. Gary Glitter, I'm down with Gary Glitter. His name says glitter in it. Hey, Quaz. And we're at the bottom. Thank you, Christopher. I'm all caughteth up. Well, let's not get carried away, Mel. I like the glitter butt one. I have refrained from commenting on any of the others. You can see all the way in the back there, the angelfish is hiding. You can kind of see it back there. All right, let's move on to 55. This one needs a water change too, but only because the water's starting to look. My camera's loose again. Look at the difference between the two waters. We just did a really big water change on this tank, which we'll get to in a minute. And then look at the water in this tank. So you can see from a side-by-side point of view how much tannin makes a difference in the tank. I'm not saying I don't like this. It's just almost getting hard to see the fish. It's getting really, really tannin stained in here. But the water's crystal clear. All the fish are nice and healthy. Everything's looking good. It's just getting kind of tannin stained. And it's been a while, obviously. I, once again, guarantee if we do a check on the nitrate, it'll be through the friggin' roof. So, all right, here's a look at the nitrate. So, I mean, it is just absolutely crimson red. And that's in the tank that not only has all those plants in it, but also has a 15-foot length of pothos plant growing out of it. And it still has crimson red nitrate in there. And my fish are all nice and healthy and everything's fine because those nitrates aren't bothering those fish at all. I've been saying that for years. I was the OG guy saying that. Why is this so loose and floppy again? All right, I'm going to have to re-screw you guys down. Your mount's not mounted on there properly. Oop, I got the wrong food. Got to stop going with whatever I grab and actually look at what I'm picking up sometimes. I'm going to throw fucking roach poison in there one of these days. Well, I probably won't because I don't actually keep the roach poison on top of my fish tank where I keep all my other fish food. Well, I say other fish food as though the roach poison's part of my fish food. I told you guys were in for a wild one tonight. I got the caffeine going. Mel, if you were paying attention, I said that sounded awesome. Your glittery rice fish and sparkly gold ones. Pay attention, woman. Well, I would think rice fish would make the best sushi too. They've got the rice already just wrapped in seaweed. They've already got the rice on them, I'm assuming. Just post it and tag me in it, Mel. I'll look at your fancy fish. Zini's Plays Little John character. Said I was gonna screw you? Re-screw you? Oh, right. I am gonna re-screw you. I gotta re-screw you. Now, how do you tag me on YouTube's? I don't know. I was thinking you would post it on Discord and tag me on the Discord, Mal. I would imagine you could get a battle axe at the battle axe store, Zini. Duh. Where else would you get a battle axe? Although, if you're if you're British, you could just marry someone. In about 20 years, you'll have your very own battle axe. All right, I'm gonna go dump this out before I say anything else. That's a generational joke. You youngins probably don't even get that, but that's all right. Look it up. I remember my dad used to call my mom an old battle axe when I was a kid. Didn't have any idea what hell he was talking about. In fact, when I was a kid, I didn't realize it was two words, battle axe. I thought it was battle axe, like just one word, battle axe. I didn't know what the fuck that meant. Once I got older and I found out what it meant, I got a chuckle out of that. Anyway, yeah, if you're British, just marry someone, you'll have a battle axe soon enough. All right. I have as much interest in the Avengers movies as I have in sports ball, which is none. Hey, heavyweight. Has a Jasper. Is it a Jasper battle axe? Oh, thanks, Christopher. I heard my thing go off. Is that what that was? Hey, Daniel. Someone asked if they knew where they could get a battle axe. And I told them if they were English or if they were British, they could just marry someone, and in 25 years, they'd have their very own battle axe. And I don't think the youngs these days, the youths these days, knows what an old battle axe is. Although by context, I'd think you'd be able to figure it out. I think my live streams are a lot more fun when I have a lot of coffee. Maybe I should sign up for the buy me a coffee thing. I will figure out some way to earn some damn money on the friggin' internets. Seems like everybody else can so far. I keep trying to do it the honest way. That's probably my problem. All right, I'm going to blow this hit out the room. I know it's fun to blow the hits in front of the camera, but I'm trying not to completely cloud up the basement tonight. So I'm blowing it towards the fan in the other room so it can get a head start and sucking it out of the basement. It is more fun when people show up, Zini. But you know what? Cast iron skillet? Mike! I made a Beastie Boys reference earlier. I was hoping you were here, but I don't think you were. And now I don't remember what the reference was, but I know I made a good, solid Beastie Boys reference. What was it now? Damn it. All right, everybody, let's move on to the next tank. This tank, you got some work tonight. You got a lot of work tonight. Wah! It's all shiny. and clean. I scraped the glass down with the razor blade. I did a gigantic water change, and we got the filter hooked up and running again. It is leaking, but I opened it up and wiped it down around the seals and closed it back up. And so I don't know if it's still leaking, but we're going to keep our eye on it as the night progresses. And when it was doing it earlier, it was maybe 20 minutes after I had the filter running again, and I noticed there was about a ½ inch of water in the bottom of that bucket. I got most of it out, so there is still some water in it from the earlier. But if we're adding to it, I will be able to notice, and I'll be able to see that the outside of the canister is wet where it's dripping and running down the sides. And so we'll be able to monitor to see if we are leaking, and we don't have to worry about it like making a mess or anything. Again, I've got it in that fairly large bucket. I always put all my canister filters in those. You can get them at Walmart or any place like that, Target, really cheap. They come with lids, and then, you can always use the lid for something else. Don't know what you might use that lid for, but I've used them for various things. Anyway. Oh, this wobbly camera is getting on my nerves. I'm going to have to rescrew you guys here pretty soon. I screwed you guys with a spoon the other night, if you remember. And I don't know how you liked being screwed with a spoon, but I thought it worked. Apparently it didn't. Maybe I should get a screwdriver and screw you properly. They always say use the correct tool for the correct job. Although that doesn't make sense. It would be just use the correct tool for the job. You can really see how that on this side here in front of the catfish, when I threw the vibra bites in there, how they just like swoosh straight down to the bottom. It's because the spray bar is squirting across the top of the surface of the tank and then hitting that front glass and just going down. And so now, rather than the stuff drifting to the bottom of the tank, the stuff is actually sort of being blown to the bottom of the tank and swirled around. We got a lot more stuff going on in there now than we did before. Let's see. Yeah, the angelfish is getting big. You should see it in person up close. The camera just does not do it justice. I showed you the spoon I screwed you with, Laura. Yeah, you noticed there, Mandarin. I'm waiting to find out what's continued there, heavyweight. Oh, there we go. I don't know, but I would stop adding the prime. I don't know why you would keep putting it in there, what you think it's doing. Hey, Mike, how are you? I was just thinking about you the other day, too. Hadn't seen you in a couple of live streams. Was wondering if you were still around. Oh, God. Are we going with the fucking crackling shit again? I just bought a new microphone. You ain't getting another one. If it's crackling again on you, it's just what you're going to have to live with. I'm not doing it again. Well, deal with it, everybody. We're plugged in. We're still clipped on. All my connections are good. I just spent $40 on this microphone. I'm not buying another one. All right, let me check my notifications real quick. You should see the way these minnows are dancing around in swirlies in this tank. Oh, let's see. I got. Let's get back here. All right, we're back. Yeah, I don't know exactly what Prime does, but my assumption is that it is the it's like an ammonia blocker is its prime purpose. No pun intended. Look at these minnows right there, dance the way they're dancing around each other. I'm going to lower you down a little bit. So I don't know if that's spawning behavior. I don't know if it's territorial behavior. I wonder if they'll freak out with the light coming on. But they do this kind of stuff a lot. They're really active, and they're always doing this sort of chasing each other and competing with each other. And I can't tell if it's just territorial stuff, if it's, you know, who's the leader of the pecking order kind of stuff, or if it's pre-spawn challenges of, you know, who's the sexiest man. We all know the answer to that question. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on in there, but it's interesting looking. All right, let's throw some food at them since we got the camera pointed at them. I'll also feed the 29. I know we skipped over it, but whatever, you'll get over it. All right, let's throw some granules in there since I've got them here. Probably ought to get in here and get some of the duckweed out too pretty soon. Still haven't replaced that front light. All right. I'm just getting caught up on comments here, everybody. I'm reading along. Well, you get your mom to send me an email there, Mandarin, and we will talk. I'll be more than happy to get you some plants. I don't know. It's been so long since I've done any cycling or starting new tanks or anything. It's the last time I did it. I'll grant you, I'm also somebody that has a plethora of tanks around to grab filter material from and whatnot. But I usually, the last one I started up, Au Natural, I just got it up and running and threw little bits of fish food in there from time to time, every few days. And within, I don't know, maybe a month to 6 weeks, it was good to go, ready for fish to go in it. Now, I'll grant you, when you cycle a tank in, well, let me think of how to say this. when you're cycling a tank in, you can get it to the point where you see that it is cycled in that you're not seeing ammonia anymore, and you're seeing the nitrite go away, and you're seeing the nitrate begin to increase, and that lets you know the tank is cycled. That's all well and good, but it's cycled based on the amount of ammonia you've been adding to the tank. So if you've only been putting one little drop of ammonia nitrate in the tank every day, and eventually you see the ammonia start to go away and nitrate, like, okay, the tank is cycled in, but it's cycled for a very small amount of ammonia. If you want to prepare the tank for fish to go in it, you need to make sure you're putting a relatively significant amount of ammonia in there. And since I don't really know what that amount is, and I don't want to do all the ammonia testing and all that, I go by the mentality of I'm roughly going to put the amount of food in there that I would be feeding fish otherwise. And then I cut that in about a half. So maybe once every 3 days or something, I'll put a little pinch of fish food in the tank, and I'll just let it rot and break down naturally. And that's my source of ammonia as time goes on. And once I've cycled it in by doing that, it's ready for fish to go in. And now I can keep feeding the tank pretty much at the same rate, just a little bit of fish food every day. And the tank's already prepared for that. All right, let me see where I was. Can you use generic potting soil or organic potting soil? Personally, I wouldn't put potting soil in an aquarium. If you want to, you can do either or. I don't think it would matter, honestly. Is that how that goes, Mike? I have heard there once was a man from Nantucket, and then like that's the only part of that joke I've ever heard. For it's like it always gets cut off there, and like that's the joke. You let your imagination go where you think it's going to go from there. But I never heard anyone actually complete it beyond that. There was another mic pop in. At least there's a garage. Well, that's good. All right, let me move on to the next tank because you're not going to be seeing a lot more than you've already seen as far as what's going on in this tank. A lot of dashing and darting. I really am going to need to screw you guys at some point. See how wobbly that is? Every time I touch this, I'm afraid it's going to fall off. I hate it when I touch it and it falls off. All right, let's do some granules again. This is the tank that had the tragic kayaking accident. We never have found the paddler, as I said. Oh, well, that's cool. You got more land, more work to do, more shit to maintain. That's always fun. I am in the situation where I don't have to use any of those additives or anything like that. I've got well water and running out for B dubs. I don't even know what that is, but all right. We have slowly been letting our edges sort of creep in and get closer and closer to the center of the yard. So we have a sort of thicker perimeter between us and the neighbors. And the thicker the perimeter between us and the neighbors, the less we actually have to do, and the less, the more privacy we have. So that's good. And then we are also, my wife mainly, credit where credit is due. We're just building the gardens up, and we're taking whole swaths of the yard. I don't know if you saw my last yard tour video on my other channel, my outdoors channel. I did a yard tour. I need to do another one because the flowers are really starting to open up and bloom now. Next sunny day I get, maybe this weekend we'll get a chance to do another yard tour video. But there's whole areas of the yard that we're just letting turn into garden and just grow wild, not necessarily wildflowers, but native type flowers. And we got so many foxglove. We're just sort of letting the foxglove seed themselves naturally, and they go crazy when you just leave them to do their natural thing. Hostas are another one, and they're a really good covering plant. You can just let hostas fill in a whole area, and then of course the foxglove come up through the hosta and everything, and it just looks like a beautiful woodland scene. And we're letting big parts of our yard turn into stuff like that, so we don't have to fuck with it. We can just let it look like that and call it a garden. I still don't even know what B-dubs is. What the fuck is B-dubs? Oh, that's cool. We just live on a road. We have a farmette across the street from us. It's like 11 acres, and they live far enough away off the road that, I mean, I can't walk down to the street with no clothes on, or they can obviously see me. But I can get pretty close to all the way down to the road without anybody seeing me. And then behind us, up in the cul-de-sac at the top of the hill, there's a couple houses. But as soon as the spring, growth comes in, and the green on the flower, the green on the trees and everything, like you'd never even know there's houses up there. Sometimes you'll hear people talking in the distance or whatever, and it just sounds like off through the woods somewhere there's voices, but it's houses right there. In the wintertime, it's shocking how, if you've only seen my yard in the summer and you look around in the winter, you're like, holy shit, where these fucking houses come from? So I do have neighbors, but they're not immediately right up on us, and they're, but again, they would have to trudge through some serious underbrush and growth and whatnot to get through all the crap between our houses. And we have 1.24 acres, so just shy of an acre and a quarter. Oh, Buffalo Wild Wings. I got you. I was actually just thinking about buffalo wings a couple days ago. You want me to tell you my buffalo wing story? It's got nothing to do with fucking Buffalo Wild Wings. Fuck Buffalo Wild Wings. I'll tell you an OG real Buffalo fucking wing story if you want to hear it. Yeah, I'm friends with my neighbor. I was actually just hanging out with him smoking a joint today, so no, there's a Buffalo Wild Wings over in the big city of Westminster. For me, I could be to one in 20 minutes or so if I really wanted to be, but I don't want to be. You have a live stream at the back corner of your property. That's cool. Gonna make a pond. Back in my day. All right, give me half a second here, and we will moveth on to the next tank. foot wide and a few inches deep. Oh, you have a live stream at the back corner of your property. Dude, you're talking to a guy who lives in front of a camera and live streams practically for a living. So when you said you have a live stream at the back of your property, I'm just imagining you down there setting up cameras and fucking Wi-Fi equipment and, potential lighting or reflector sheets to angle the sun at you, getting ready, setting up for your live stream. What the hell else does a live stream mean? So you have flowing water on your property. That's extra cool. I love that. Yeah, you got an actual stream on your property. That's cool. We have one across the street. It's on my neighbor's property, so they get it. We don't. Fuck them water rats. I'll shoot them water rats with my P38 or whatever it was. It's like shooting womp rats. Is it a good, strong stream, Ark? Because if it's a weak stream, you might want to talk to your doctor. We talked about that the other night, Mandarin. I'm not sure. I don't know what you're going to want to use in your aquarium. I don't know about the planted, dirted tanks and all that kind of stuff. Can you see my fucker down there munching on the rock? Look at him keeping that rock clean, doing his job, earning his keep. This is another tank that really sorely needs a water change. It's hard to tell, but the glass is dirty as shit. The tank has a bunch of stuff sort of swirling around in it, even though we did just change the filter finally after a year. It's hard to tell. I was expecting it to be all bright and clean and different looking, but this wobbly camera's driving me fucking crazy. Totally gonna have to screw you guys here soon. All right. I'm not going to fuck with you anymore. I'm leaving you right there. All right. Apparently granules it is again. I like the way one of these days I'll have to book the camera up. If you watch the rainbow fish, they actually sort of like breach the surface as they go up and bite the stuff that's on the surface. Their whole back comes up out of the water. I'm just vaping on some stuff. It's really good stuff. No beef heart indeed. Here, I'll show you the stuff we're hitting on, but I don't know what it is. It's just from a plant I had. Oh, I told you I wasn't going to touch you guys again, and I did. So that's what we're hitting on. And again, that's pretty full. That's a lot of it. Calcifer Dream Queen. Nice. That sounds delicious. I don't use any foods. I don't use any ferts. I don't use any additives. I don't use anything. No CO2, no nothing. I have a shit ton of light on my tanks. I don't really worry so much about doing water changes that frequently, so just natural nutrients will build up. I do have a planted substrate. It's eco-complete, so it's not a dirted tank, as they like to call it. I prefer to think of it as a soiled tank, but it is not a dirted tank. It is just eco-complete, which is a planted, substrate. It does have some trace nutrients and stuff like that built into it. In fact, it's made out of those trace nutrients in some degree. But a lot of light, a lot of not doing water changes, and a lot of just leaving it the hell alone and being patient. We actually recently just cut down this Anubias. It was all the way growing up out of the water. It was blocking half the view in the tank, and so I chopped the whole top of it off. I wound up selling that to a customer. I had some Anubias the other day, but nobody asked about it. Nobody seemed to want it, so I put it in one of my tanks, and I don't have any more. I do have a shit ton of Java Fern. I got some big pieces of Java Fern. If anybody wants one, email me. Tropicana banana. Nice. That sounds good. I've got a Skittles plant that's 53 inches tall. I can't believe how much that thing stretched out and kept growing when I put it in my flowering tent. Wow, it's only 10 after 9. Felt later than that. I'm really ready to sit down now. I feel like I've been going 100 miles an hour all day. I feel like my caffeine, it's not wearing off my brain, but it's definitely wearing off my body. I did work out a little bit tonight too, so maybe that's why. Excuse me. Yes, Kendra. That would be my Gmail indeed. Kendra is in Colorado. Nice. I am in Maryland. And again, I grow my own. I will show you guys an update on my one plant that I'm growing. This is a super silver haze, and I've been fighting mites, and I've been like letting tents get empty and then spraying them down and waiting and starting fresh with a single plant. And this one so far still looks good. There's no sign anywhere of insects or mite damage. All the leaves still look nice and green, and it is almost 4 feet tall. It's 47 inches right now, or about 121, 120 centimeters, something like that. So that one's going to be nice. And Super Silver Haze is a heavy hitter, so it's just getting started, but that will produce some serious buds. I have already got it staked up. By the time that thing's done, the buds will be so big and heavy it'll be like leaning sideways, and so I've already pre-staked it in anticipation of that. I know how these Super Silver Hazes pack on the weight as they get finished, but that's just getting going. That's going to have ounces of weed on it by the time it's done. And God, I love that Super Silver Haze. It is so good. Rocky Mountain High. Nice. I like that song. Do I do any fish breeding? Not on purpose, but I do occasionally have some fish breed. I got you. What are you looking at here? Occasionally, some of my fish do breed. Not counting like the live bears and whatnot, because of course they do. But this tank has had my discus in here spawn several times. I've not actually gotten them to hatch the eggs. But the last time they spawned, I got some advice to put a nightlight on the tank. And the idea being that the parents would be able to guard the eggs at night, nobody would be able to sneak up on them in the darkness. And it actually seemed to work. I went from having them survive 1 or 2 nights to having them survive 4. And slowly but surely, all the eggs turned white and got eaten. And so, again, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I don't think the parent fish really know what they're doing. So, I'm not actively trying to breed the discus, but if they do breed, that would be pretty cool. I've got some various tetras, like my diamond tetras and the Buenos Aires tetras. They breed occasionally. Um, I got shrimp that breed all the time, and then of course, like I say, a bunch of live bears that breed all the time, but nothing deliberate or specific. I was just telling Zini the other night. I can't remember what he was talking about with romantic music or whatever, but he had it all wrong. And I told him that he needs to listen to some Barry White. Let's get it on. That's not what I sent him. What did I send him? Oh, I can't get enough of your love, babe. That you can never go wrong with that. You put on some Barry White, and your fish will be spawning in no time. I've heard of a lot of people saying that Corys are easy to breed. I've never really kept them in groups, so I don't really know about that one. I don't have a lot of luck with the Corys. Oh, right, you were trying to get your your anal sex. That's fucking fantastic. Oh, that is awesome. Mm. Yeah, if you put Barry White on for your anal sex video, I can't even say that without laughing. That is fucking hilarious. If you tried to put that on that particular video or any video, you'd have to do that's a copyright thing. You definitely couldn't do a Barry White song. But if you can't find any Barry White, Marvin Gaye is always a good backup. And speaking of my OnlyFans, I am now in the top 17% of OnlyFans creators. My income is now more than doubled my YouTube income. Daddy Dan, indeed. Sure, I might get adult restricted. All these naughty comments you people keep making me make. You got me singing Barry White to you. What the hell's going on tonight? It's the coffee. I'm telling you. You guys do the strong ass coffee. It gets me going. I used to take caffeine pills before we went live, or I would drink my. Remember, I had my go-go juice. I would drink that caffeine juice. Oh wow, I can feel the difference between the one end of the basement and the other as far as the temperature. So I was definitely right about it being moist and chilly. But that's all right. I'll close the basement up once the live stream's over. I'd rather have it a little bit moist and chilly than have it all stinky and smoky because nobody likes that. All right, let me get you over here. Let me get something to fix this fucking wobbly, loose ass thing with. I don't want to get the spoon to screw you with again. I'm going to get a screwdriver and screw you with this time. Although I can probably just pop the little thingy down and screw it with the screw that comes with the screw. We could try that. Let me get a screwdriver here. I think the screwdriver will work. All right, bear with me here. Oh yeah, that's totally loose. All right, we started with the screwdriver, but let's use the. There we go. I finally popped that little thing down. There we go. Tighten that bitch up like it's supposed to be. Now we should not wobble, at least for the rest of this live stream. I'm going to have to retighten it every time now. It's like a damn Harley Davidson camera mount. Every 50 miles, you got to tighten all the bolts down. All right, let's see. I think I'm done. And I can actually sit down and relax. Where are you? You're over here. Let's bring you up here so you're not looking up my nostrils. You know, I watch a lot of podcasters and, you know, all the stuff I watch all throughout the week, all the politics shows. And, you know, these are people who are professional, news pundits. They're on television all the time. They live in the real world, so they're used to doing Zoom calls and all that kind of shit that I don't ever do. But through the pandemic and all, of course, everybody learned how to do the Zoom and did the meetings and all that kind of stuff. And I can't fucking tell you how many times I've turned on a live stream or somebody's podcast or something, and they're using their laptop. It's down on the desk below them, so you're looking up their fucking nostrils, and it's all smudgy. They didn't bother to wipe it down, so there's like this haze on the fucking camera, and they got a bright, like, open window with the sun shining in it directly behind them. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Have you given one moment's thought to what you're doing before you sit down to do like some video production? Jesus Christ. That's the most basic of basic stuff that you learn about not doing a shitty video. And so many of them do it. Some people get it. Some people, you can tell, understand how to have a background behind them and have the camera clean and the microphone clear and the camera just slightly up looking down. You never want the camera below you looking up. Nobody wants to look up your fucking nostrils. It makes your face look weird. The shadows don't look right. Again, it's stuff like that drives me crazy. All right, let me see where I was. Somewhere back here. Blue beauties, nice. I wonder if you could crossbreed tetras, like breed black skirt tetras with lemon tetras or diamond tetras with lemon tetras or something like that. I guess if they could, somebody had been doing that by now. Yeah, there's definitely a fine balance between caffeine and THC. And when you got ADHD, the caffeine definitely different shit in your brain. You'd think I was using it for carpeting. It thinks I'm using it for carpeting. I want to say it's the Wendy. Oh, God damn it. When am I getting my check? Talking about the camera and the like bright fucking light behind them and a smudgy lens and glowfish back with albino black skirts. I've never even seen no black skirts. That's pretty cool. That'll be an interesting looking fish if you ever do it. You ever? All right. If somebody would like to stop sign me, I'm going to have a swig of my iced tea. You know what I could really go for right now? Some super silver haze. That weed always had a very relaxing effect on me. I don't know if you guys ever watched me smoke it, but I would smoke it and then I would just relax. It doesn't make my head slow down. It doesn't make me feel couch locky. It's like the perfect weed. It just relaxes me. It just calms the jitters. It relaxes all the tense muscles, but it does not make me feel drowsy or dull. Like when I eat cookies, I don't know. I don't enjoy my live streams when I eat the cookies and do the edibles. I don't know how much you guys enjoy that or not. Me and Steve were laughing about it the other day. He was making fun of me, like, give me something to talk about. Give me something to talk about. But that's literally how I feel. Like my brain just shuts down. I just feel like, duh. Like every time I've eaten edibles, like that's just how I feel after I eat them. I just kind of feel like, duh. And that's fine if I want to go to bed. It doesn't make for a very good show. It might be funny to laugh at me once in a while to see me like that because I'm clearly very not like that in most cases. But I don't know, it just doesn't make for a good show. I'm not really into the edibles. Having said that, I am saving up the stuff that I use for ingredients to make edibles, and I'm about halfway there to having enough to make another batch of edibles. So we'll go around again, maybe have another night with me eating something, and I don't know. We'll see. You guys give me your feedback. Let me know what you think, whether that was fun or not. I'm not a huge fan, but that's the thing about the super silver haze is it doesn't give me that duh feeling. It like everything's still sharp as a tack upstairs. It just calms my body down and relaxes me, and that is a rare weed that does that. I either get one sort of or the other. Super silver haze seems to do both, and it's just fucking fantastic, and it tastes delicious. So I can't wait till that's done. Unfortunately, I don't have any of it at the moment. Damn it. It is iced tea. Well, I call it fake tea. It's those little squeeze bottles, like the brand name is Mio, where you just squeeze the flavor juice into your water container. I like the sweet tea, so it is my fake tea. And there's nothing in it because I don't drink. Yeah, you might get some weird colorations. That'll be interesting. Yeah, Super Silver Haze is definitely one of my favorites too. I've Super Silver Haze is the only haze I've ever had that I know of. The Magic Erasers don't have any soap in them. Well, they might sell some that have soap in them, but if you just buy the Magic Erasers or if you just buy the melamine sponge, there's nothing in them. Yeah, I've thought about the Super Silver Haze. Steve had some Romulan the other day. He had a joint of it, and God, it was good. I've wanted to buy Romulan for years. I've thought about it, but it was always one of those like it's kind of like a connoisseur weed. It's takes a long time. You don't get big, fat, fucking giant nugs. And I've always gone by the if I'm going to grow a limited number of plants, I want to grow some heavy hitters, you know. I think I'm to the stage in my life now where I might prefer to grow at least one or two connoisseur plants every now and again. And that Romulan is one that I really would like to. Now that I've actually smoked it, it was really good. It was a really nice buzz. But I haven't had Northern Lights in probably 20 years. Oh, I can't stand that duh feeling. I hate that. I really do. Oh, you can do whatever you want with those fish, Mike, and I don't give a fuck one way or the other. But I think the only time that that stuff matters is if you try to sell them once you've bred them or crossed them or something like that. That's where they might get iffy and send their lawyers to give you an email or whatever if you're trying to sell them as some sort of cross, whatever. But I don't worry about shit like that either. All right, Zini, we will talk to you on Sunday. Snowcap, I've never heard of the snowcap. I'm live 8 o'clock Eastern time every Friday and Sunday. And if you want to join the channel for $2.99 a month, you can join a membership. You'll get access to the Discord, and we do a private members only live stream every Wednesday night at 8. So you get an additional live stream every week for your price of membership of $2.99 a month. So you get a lot if you're into hanging out and doing the channel stuff and being part of the community and all that. If not, I'm live every Friday and Sunday for the public at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure whether you were making a cheese joke there, you Gouda head out, which was a pretty good pun, by the way, or if it was just a typo. Um, I was amused either way. I did enjoy the Yaguda head out. I'm going to have to use that at some point in the future after I've been talking about cheese. How am I going to work that one into a conversation? I'll let you know when I do, but I'm going to have to try to work that into a conversation at some point. White Widow and Bubba Cross. I do have White Widow. I don't have any growing at the moment, but I do have White Widow seeds. Let me see what I do have. I'm pretty sure I know what I have. I should have some Wicked Space, some Purple Kush, and some. This is the Purple Kush. This is my Wicked Space. And then this is Poochie Love. And I really like the Poochie Love, but these are 2 half-ounce containers, and I'm trying to keep that whole ounce just separated by itself. These are the 2 I've been smoking off of. And this is actually Poochie Love, but it's the Sugar Leaf. It's not... fuck it, let's go smoke some Sugar Leaf. It can't be that bad. Let's grab a lighter, grab my bong, grab my ashtray. I usually, when I'm cutting down a plant and grooming it and whatnot, manicuring it, if it's in the right condition and the sugar leaf is nice and wholesome, I will actually separate the sugar leaf and dry that and cure it on its own, and it makes fantastic joint rolling material. But I'm not a big joint smoker. I usually only do that if I'm hanging out with other people. It's a social thing, and I don't do that very often. And so I think tonight we can go ahead and just roll some of that up into the bone and smoke it. There. All right, so this is what we're dealing with. I'm not going to angle the camera any lower. You got to pay extra for that. So you can see it's, it's great stuff for rolling a joint. I actually got a few slightly larger leaves in there. But most of it is this sugar leaf that's just sort of clumps together. So we'll pull that out and set that on the lid. Anybody old enough to remember buying weed by the lid? Shit, I'm not even old enough to remember buying weed by the lid, but I do remember the terminology. I am familiar with it. I had uncles and older, friends that had older brothers and uncles and stuff that bought weed by the lid. But you got to go way back. I bet if Cecil were here, Cecil would remember buying weed by the lid. All right, so with the sugar leaf, I should be able to put a fair whack in there and still smoke it all up in one hit. Oh, damn, I just lost a leaf into the pond. Let me get that back out before the goldfish eat it. I don't think it would do anything to them because it's, well, I don't know. It's old enough now. It's probably decarboxylated naturally. So I did drop some cookie in the pond one night. So I'm pretty sure I know one goldfish ate the little piece of cookie I dropped in there one night, but it was a tiny little piece of cookie. So I can't imagine that goldfish got very high off of it. Not quite the same as smoking bud, but still pretty good. I like that Poochie Love. That's a nice buzz too. That'll calm me down a little bit. Not like that Super Silver Haze, but the Poochie Love is still pretty low key, chill sort of buzz. All right. Yeah, G13 was they put that in that what was that, Beautiful American Beauty? Yeah, American Beauty. The guy that was dealing that had the G13 in that movie. Yeah, there was all that rumors about how it was like some government strain that the government had perfected. I rolled my eyes when I heard that years ago, but I heard that shit back in the fucking 90s that there was some strain going around um, that all it had was a name, had like a number because it was, you know, the government had secretly made it and grown this strain that was like super duper potent and whatnot. And my assumption is the weed followed the story. You know, the story got out there and it was like an urban legend kind of story. And then some grower somewhere just named one of his fucking dank ass strains G13, and boom, there it was. G13's on the market now. Because I've smoked G13 and, well, G13 crosses. And I don't see how it's some magic fucking super government weed that's any more potent than any other fucking weed. I grow weed myself that's as potent as that shit. So I don't know. I think it was probably just some urban bullshit. And then, you know, some grower just got the bright idea, like, that's a great fucking name. It's certainly not copyrighted. I can use it. You know, was the government going to tell me I can't use it? All right, gonna have some more tea after that. All right. Yeah, it was. I always heard it was something like that. Hell yeah, that's a poor man's speedball there. Benadryl and a dab, nice. Shit, I wouldn't say that right now, Mike. Oh, that would suck getting an allergy to weed. If you want to save money on Benadryl, buy the generic, just allergy pills. It's the same stuff. And if you really want to save money on something like, what is that stuff? It's a sleeping pill, Unisom, like those over-the-counter sleeping pills like Unisom and Night Aid and all that bullshit. Just buy the generic, like the Walmart store brand allergy pills, and you get a bottle of 100 for like $4. And it's the same thing as a Unisom. It's, if you read the ingredients, it's the exact same thing as a Unisom. It's just a Benadryl, and it's what is it? Diphenhydramine. I think it's diphenhydramine hydrochloride is what Benadryl is. But whatever the chemical Benadryl is, it's such a common side effect that you get drowsy when you take it, that's what Unisom is. It's just a 25 milligram dose of Benadryl, just like a pill is a 25 milligram dose of Benadryl. It's the same exact thing. So read the ingredients and look at them, and you'll say, "Holy crap! I can buy 100 of these for $4." Or if you buy Unisom, it's 12 of them for $9 or something like that. But I have used them in the past as a gentle sleep aid. Take a couple of them when I can't get to bed, and an hour later you're drowsy and falling out. And remember, I'm not a doctor or a healthcare professional, so do whatever at your own risk. Oh man, Robitussin. Well, it depends on how much you drank. Like when I drank Robitussin, it was like a bottle, and then I'd be robo tripping, and I didn't like all that. I robo tripped a few times, but it was not fun. It's definitely not. It's definitely not like doing acid. That's for sure. Yeah, cough drop. I can see using a cough drop. Yeah, I don't know what prices are anymore. I just know that when you bought the, you get the bottle of 100 allergy pills from the Walmart brand, or Equate, I think is the Walmart brand. it was far less money than what 12 Unisom would have cost me. So that's why I always did that. Mucinex, I never did the Mucinex. Don't even know what was in Mucinex. I used to know a bunch of different medications that were in those. I used to do the pharmacy high for a while, for about a year period where I used to mess around with that shit. I don't recommend it. It's not good for you, like at all. Smoking weed's fine, but the shit I was doing with all the different stuff that's in those medications with it, like all the acetaminophen, and the alcohol that's in there and all that shit that's doing to your liver. Just like, don't fuck with medications like that. Take medications as needed, as directed by your doctor, as it says on the label. And don't fuck with any of that stuff. It's just not good for you at all. You want to get high, just go smoke some fucking weed. It's not legal everywhere, but it's available everywhere because there's websites out there that ship to all 50 states, and you can just have it show up in your mailbox like I do, or I have in the past. I don't anymore, but you can do that nowadays. So you don't need to drink Robitussin. Don't do that. I bet it did something then, didn't it, Shirley? Yeah, there you go. Exactly, Mike. That's some nasty shit. You never know what you're going to do. Yeah, I definitely know about hotboxing a cigarette. Yeah, I told you that would kick that in there for you, Shirley. That's some good shit. I never did mescaline. I've only done mushrooms and acid. Those are the only two of the. I did PCP though, but I don't like to talk about that. That was bad. Um, but the mushrooms, I've done mushrooms a bunch of times, and I did acid a lot when I was younger. I used to do a lot of acid. I like that. Yeah, I've never done the salvia either. No, I definitely wouldn't do that spice shit either. All right. Let's see. That smells rice fish, rain possible. And REI's got some shit on sale. All right. Ah, where'd everybody go? You're back. Well, just because salvia is natural, and it's salvia, not Sylvia. um, just because salvia is natural doesn't mean anything. That's some nasty shit. Fucking cocaine is natural too. Although you have to process it to get it all purified down to the cocaine. Arsenic is natural. Dog poop is natural. There's a lot of stuff out there that's natural. Cyanide, botulism. Just because something's natural don't mean you want to take it or it's good for you or whatever. I definitely do not recommend salvia. I've never done it, but I've seen a lot of videos of people doing salvia, and it looks like some fucked up shit. I would never do that. No way. going to do that in 2 hits instead of 1. Oh, yeah, that I could definitely taste the leafiness to it rather than the budsy flavor you get when you smoke the buds. All right, everybody. I am going to start winding down. Exactly. The destroying angels are natural. And botulism is interesting. Botulism itself is not the toxic part. It's botulism toxin it's the most toxic substance known to man. And it's the botulism. It's like it's like what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a waste byproduct of the botulism. So when the botulism is doing its thing and eating the food or, oxidizing whatever it oxidizes or doing whatever, its waste product that it produces is the botulism toxin. That's the poisonous shit. It's not the botulism itself. It's the toxin it produces, and that's some nasty shit. Unless you squirt it into your forehead, then it makes your wrinkles go away, apparently. All right. There's cytoplasm. Is that what it is? I knew it was the botulism toxin that was poison and not the botulism itself. All right, everybody. We're going to start winding down here. It's almost 10 o'clock, so now would be the time to get your last thoughts and questions in, etc. Let's go have a look at our container over here and see how much water we've got in it. Get an idea whether we need to worry about that overnight tonight. I don't think that's any more in there than I saw before. That's dry. This side's completely dry. The back side's completely dry. And this side is completely dry. So we will assume that my pulling it open and wiping it down and cleaning it got it all fixed up and done, but just in case, I'm going to leave it sitting out so I can check in the morning when I come down. At the rate it is leaking, or was leaking, I should say, that I would easily get away with overnight. It was just a tiny, tiny little bit of a slow leak. Oops, sorry. Turn that off. I meant to do that. I meant to raise you guys up. All right. All right. It looks like we got no final thoughts or questions. So I guess we can just go ahead and wrap it up then. All right, everybody. I'm going to say thanks for joining me. I hope you guys had a good time tonight. Don't forget, if you are new around here, we do this every Friday and Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you sign up for membership, we do a members-only live stream on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. So you get an additional third live stream every week. But for the public, it's Fridays and Sundays at 8. Members, it's Wednesdays. And then, of course, if you're a member, you also get access to the Discord. So don't forget that. We will rotate the pond on Sunday, or what I usually like to do is leave the pond sitting still, and then I rotate the room around it. Functionally, it's the same thing, kind of like walking on a treadmill. You're kind of standing still, but the ground's moving underneath you. If we rotate the room, it'll be the same end result. Trust me. So you're as old as me then, Mike. Old and young. So, all right, everybody, I am going to go get some nummy num food in my belly, and I will see you guys on Sunday night. I know it's a holiday weekend or whatever, but I'm still going to do my regular Sunday night like I always do. So I will see you all then. And goodbye, Mandarin, Art Knight, Mike, etc. Hamilton. Hello and good night. All right, everybody. Good night.